Ooh, I have kind of a creepy story I remember involving cousin Kevin, our little Grammy winner, squirting blood on everybody, fun one. He grew up his father, my uncle, um, grandma's son, her oldest son, worked as an engineer at Boeing, and they lived in Auburn along the Green River. And that was the famous site of the Green River killer. Before that, I always thought of Green River as just a very green place to go. It was kind of hard to get to the river. There were a lot of just this high green sort of grass that would grow along the banks. And we would go there to play, in the 70s. But he did get a job at one point in high school, cousin Kevin did, detailing cars. He was such a fabulous artist that he had this high paying, he was the super duper specialist there. But there was a creepy guy who worked at the auto place, and he was always, changing the color of his car. He was always at work really early, throwing bleach all around in it. And cousin Kevin just said, this has got to be him. In fact, at some point, he stopped even calling the guy by his own name. He was just like, you're the murderer, you're the murderer. And he would call the police and he would say, like, look, there's blood all over, the back of his car, and he's throwing bleach in it. He's showing up at work early again. And the police would never listen to him. They just never would. So there you have it. And I just found this came out when I was, going through things. Anne Francis, my dad was the minister of one of the Unity churches in the LA area, and so we had a lot of just actors, actresses, Jetsam, Flotsam, floating by. I think in one video I even mentioned that Charles Manson showed up one night with my babysitter and her whole troop of friends that would always come. So it was interesting. I do remember meeting Anne Francis when she came through Albuquerque. My dad was a minister in Cincinnati for a short little bit of time, and that was right before we moved to Chicago. It was after he went through a rather scandalous divorce, shall we say. And wow, she got her license and everything. And there she is. That was probably taken in Seattle. Oh, someone found his coat of arms and rustled it up. That was kind of interesting. And there were a lot of them. There were like many, many coats of arms. I guess Wozner's like some old Swiss name, Switzerland. So, yeah. I've been watching a really great Swiss channel lately, Sean Hross, Hross, and he talks a lot about the Knights Templar there and how they came up through the Mediterranean, Italy. And this really doesn't have much to do with anything. That was just that Erlin mansion. I think what was interesting was the name Erlin. They've had trouble sort of tracing it. I think they finally may have traced it back to France, but it means the hour line, the hour on the line. And it's weird because I looked up something, and there was a man only known as the Frenchman in London, like in the 1600s. And his last name was Erlin, and I wondered if it had to do with time travel. My grandmother loved reading Tesla and was just very fascinated with all of that sort of thing. So, I would love to read who she read, and go down and just be there where she was. And she would fly over the beautiful islands of Puget Sound. Really, really exquisite. So here's just like a little bit of Seattle history for you. And wow, there's some Seattleites from the 50s there. Very interesting. So We will just have a great day, everybody, and take good care. Bye.